House tries to dispute and dismiss the Trump-Russia collusion inquiry. The House Intelligence Committee is planning its very next steps.
Let's go to Washington. Ranking member Congressman Adam Schiff joins us from Capitol Hill.
And Congressman, good morning. It's good to see you again. Do us this favor. A lot of people haven't followed this very, very closely. Can you kind of sum up what's going on at this moment?
Sure. We've had, as most people know, an investigation into the Russian interference in our elections. And one of the core issues we're looking at is whether they had the help of U.S. persons, and that is whether people affiliated with the Trump campaign were somehow coordinating their actions or colluding with the Russians. In the last few days, the White House has tried to make an issue of whether there was incidental collection that would somehow justify those baseless tweets he made against former President Obama, that Obama was wiretapping him at Trump Tower. Now, no one has seen any evidence to support the president's tweets, but people, I think, don't understand much of what is meant by incidental collection. So let me just explain it very quickly. When we're doing lawful surveillance of a foreign agent talking to another foreign agent, if they even discuss a U.S. person, that is called incidental collection. When those reports are given to people within the intelligence community or within the administration, the names of those U.S. persons are masked. That is, they're generically described. If the person receiving the report needs to know who is this person in order to evaluate the significance of the intelligence, they can ask for the unmasking of that name. And then it's the intelligence agency that produced the report that goes through its own process to determine if that's appropriate. Now, that's a far cry from any suggestion that Barack Obama was wiretapping Donald Trump, but I think they're trying to throw up this smokescreen in an effort not only to divert the attention of our committee from the Russia investigation, but also to somehow justify these unjustifiable comments by the president.
Congressman, you jumped into there's a lot of names involved with this, and we want to get to that, and Susan Rice is one of the biggest ones. But I see that you met with the president last week at the end of the week, and I'd like to know what you guys talked about, and did you talk about that tweet?
We didn't talk about the tweet, and I went over to the White House to review the documents that had been only shown to the chairman of our committee in that rather strange evening visit to the White House. And what was interesting to me about the documents is that these, according to the White House, were produced in the ordinary course of business. But of course, the question is the ordinary course of whose business? It appears they were produced now by the White House for the White House, but they wanted to hide their hand. I was invited to say hello to the president. He wanted to invite me to the Oval Office, so I had probably a 5 or 10 minute meeting with the president. We largely talked about infrastructure and other things. The only conversation we had of substance about the Russia investigation is he asked me whether I was getting access to the documents that I needed to see. And I told him there was actually a problem, that the White House staff was not permitting my staff director to accompany me. He's cleared to see the same materials I am. The president made it clear he was okay with that. His staff, though, was not okay with that. And so we ultimately had to wrangle that issue to the ground. Ultimately, they relented, and we were both able to see the materials.
You know, we're all curious to know what your relation is now, your relationship with Devin Nunes, who's the head of the committee. He's the one who did that late night, go over to the White House, get information that the White House seemed to have fed him, that he then said, the White House, we have significant information about wiretapping, et cetera. What is your relationship with him? Does he have any credibility in your mind?
Well, up until that White House excursion, we had a very good relationship. It was, I think, more than just professional. We worked together on a great many issues. And we also had sort of private things in common. Oddly enough, we're both diehard Oakland Raiders fans. But that was a real setback, not only to our personal relationship, obviously, but it was a setback to the committee because it raised a real cloud over the committee's work in the impartiality we have to follow the facts wherever they lead. So that has posed a real problem. It did result in things coming to a grinding halt for at least a week. But we are now in the process of agreeing to the early witnesses we'll bring before the committee. We're requesting documents for our oversight. So, you know, we muster on, but we do have to contend with the continuing fallout of that coordinated meeting that the White House apparently organized.
All right, I know you got to go, so just one last question to you. It goes back to the beginning. There are people who believe that the Obama administration wiretapped the White House, whatever wiretap the White House means. From your point of view, and keep in mind, you're always a fair broker, but you're also a Democrat. From your point of view, was the White House wiretapped?
No, absolutely not. And people don't need to take my word for it. In the open hearing we had, Director Comey said that there was nothing, no factual basis to support what the president said. Now, that's a polite way of saying it was complete nonsense. The director of the NSA made exactly the statement, not only about that, but I asked him about the new claim of the White House at the time that the British spied on Trump on Obama's behalf. He equally said that was nonsense. So it's not just what Democrats are saying. You've also had numerous Republicans like Senator McCain, even Senator McConnell, say that there's no support for that accusation.
All right, Representative Adam Schiff, Congressman, as always, thank you very much for taking the time out. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks, Congressman.
Stephen.